Hey everyone, Bruce here. It's Go Metric today. Just wanted to do a quick video, or maybe not even a quick video, it might be a long one, to explain how I came about having faith. I had been an atheist for, well, gracious, most of my life, since I was a young child, I guess, and I'm 40 years old now. And for the last couple of years, I kind of felt like there was a tugging at my heart. I felt like there was something missing in my life, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. I really just didn't know what it was, and wasn't sure what to make of it. Last March, I was in the hospital because I was having some heart troubles, and even then, my heart was feeling heavy, and I knew that there was something going on in my life, but I couldn't quite figure it out. So I just kind of let it go. I didn't say or do anything about it, and then recently, one of my dear friends died, and that was a huge shock for me. And I was really feeling really sad, and my heart was heavy, and I was feeling really burdened and almost feeling guilty for surviving, and not sure why, but I have to say, though, for me the big turning point was I was at his funeral, and for the first time in many years that I'd been in a church, it felt right. And I'm not... At that point, I didn't know why it felt right. I didn't know what was making me feel the way I was, but it just felt right. So, on December 3rd, I decided, well, I was feeling pretty sad, and my heart was heavy, and I couldn't get over this grief that I was feeling. So I decided I was going to do this praying thing. Figured I'd give it a try, and I kept feeling like there was something I needed to do, there was something I needed to find out. I kept feeling this tugging, this constant tugging, or knocking at the door. I needed to try this praying thing. So I did. And, I didn't pray in the traditional sense. I just sat there and had a conversation with God. I was sitting in my bed, about to go to bed for the night, and I just sat there and had a conversation, and I said, God, I'm here, I'm opening the door, I'm letting you in, I need some peace in my life, I need some comfort, I need faith. And I guess maybe I should go back a little bit. I'd often told my friend Carrie that I was jealous of people like her, and she asked me why, and I said, because you have something I've never had. And she said, what is that? I told her, I said, you have faith. I've never had faith. Even though I went to church as a child and went through all the motions, I never believed what I was being taught. And I never felt it. I never had the faith. I never had that feeling of oneness with God. And the night of December 3rd, that happened. That changed for me. I talked to God and turned everything over to Him. I said, God, I'm here, I'm hurting, my life is a shambles, I'm emotionally barren. I had a wonderful long conversation with God. I said, God, I need your forgiveness. I spent many years hating you, and I don't know why. I don't know why I resisted letting you in my life. And I told God, I said, I need that forgiveness, I need that love, I need that faith that I'd never had. And He did. He showed me the love. He showed me the faith. You know, he gave me what I had been searching for. And now I have faith. You know, I love God. I love the feeling that, you know, of the love that He's given me, the unconditional love. And what makes it all the more special for me is that night on December 3rd, when I was sitting in my bed praying, right where I am now, I felt this wonderful warmth, this peace that I had never had as an atheist. This peace had come over me, and I started sobbing. To this day, when I think about it, I still get very emotional, and I thank God every day for loving me and being patient and just waiting for me. He knew one day that I would come and ask for Him, and that is probably the best feeling I had ever had in my life. I've never experienced the kind of love and the kind of comfort and peace until December 3rd. And since then, my faith has grown more, and my love for God has grown more, and many times I've had my conversations with God, because again, I said I don't pray like in the traditional sense. Many times I've had my conversations with God since then, and He has shown me what I need to do if I've done something wrong. He has guided me in ways that I never thought were possible. So this is just my little story to Christianity. You know, it's not rehearsed. I'm not going to do any editing on this video because I want it to be raw. And it is my hope and prayer that other people will find God, other people will have faith, and other people will find the beauty of faith. It's, to me, I never thought I could believe in something that wasn't tangible, that wasn't there, that I couldn't put my hands on, that I couldn't see or hear or touch. And I was jealous of that for the longest time because I didn't have that. I couldn't understand why people would do that, and or how people could believe in something like that. And now I do, because God has shown me, and it is a truly wonderful, wonderful feeling. There may be naysayers out there saying that I've sold out, and that you know, that I've just chosen to believe in something even though I don't really believe in it. But that I can honestly say that is not true. Every time the devil tests me, it strengthens my faith in God that much more, and it strengthens my relationship with God that much more. And I know that when the time comes for me to be called home, I'm going to be in the hands of God, and I already feel His loving warmth around me every day, and I feel His loving embrace, and I really honestly hope that more people find Him, because it is really truly a wonderful, wonderful feeling, and I give God the glory every day that I wake up and that He's allowed me to have another day. And God has not tested me more than what I could handle. I have been through quite a bit of adversity in my life, and God knows that I will turn to Him now. And I thank you, God. And I thank everybody else for listening to me. Again, there may be naysayers, and that's okay. You know, your judgment of me is not going to weaken my faith. In fact, it will only strengthen my faith. My faith is strong, and the devil can't work with me. So, anyhow, I am glad people listen to me, and I thank you, God, for another day.
When we talk about near-death experiences, and we sit down with Howard Storm and Dr. Jeffrey Long and discuss NDE, near-death experiences, and we focus really on Howard Storm's story because he had an NDE. And this man was an atheist. He was an art professor. Had nothing to do with God. He hadn't prayed since he was a little kid. He was an atheist. And he was in France on this lecture tour with a bunch of people looking at different art museums. And he contracts an ailment. And he winds up in the French medical system. Remember, he's an American in France.
Ooh, yeah.
He lays in a hospital room for 9 hours.
The beauties of socialized medicine,
Bingo.
by the way. Yeah.
That's a 3-hour discussion. And there's no pain medication, there's no nurses, there's no doctor. He's not even examined for 9 hours. The pain becomes more excruciating with each passing hour. And he's desperately trying to hold on because he knows that if he goes unconscious, this is it. He's clinging to life, literally. Clinging to life. And of course, he can't cling to life anymore, and he lets go. And he blacks out, and then a period of time passes, and he finally awakens, and he's in the room. He looks over, and he's in the bed. How can that be? And he goes up to his wife and begins to yell at her, like, wake up! You know, hey, it's me! That type of stuff. And she just stares straight ahead, doesn't hear him. He then goes over to his roommate, does the same thing to this man, right in his face, yelling, screaming at him, swearing at him, cursing at him, anything to get his attention. Man just looks like he can't hear anything. So he's perplexed by this, not sure what's going on. And out in the hallway of this hospital, he hears voices, and they're calling him by name. Howard, come with us. It's time. We've been waiting for you. Come with us. So he assumes, first mistake, that these are somehow medical personnel. They're going to take him to the operating room where he can get operated on and get relief. And he goes out in the hall with these people, and there's like 6 to 8 of them, something like that. There's a crowd of people, and they begin to usher him down this hallway. And pretty soon, he doesn't know where he is. And this hallway ceases to become a hospital hallway. It becomes this dark, gloomy, dungeon-like area without ceiling, floor, or walls. And these half a dozen people have now grown to 100 people, he's not even sure, but a lot of people. And they begin to kick and push and bite and scratch and make fun of him and prod him to the point where he's like overwhelmed by this thing, and he begins to fight back. And the more he fights back, the more it excites them. They're getting off on it. And they do things to him which were unspeakable. He wouldn't go on camera and tell us, but he just said, suffice it to say that it makes sadomasochistic acts look like a picnic.
And so at that point, he's an atheist. He's in a dark place being tormented. Sounds like hell to me.
Yes.
And he came to the realization, apparently, that it was. And on this DVD, you get the rest of the story. And by the way, it's an amazing testimony because this man is now a pastor.
Yes, he is.
But he was an atheist.
I was raised in a home with Christian parents and was taken to different congregations for the first 5 years of my life and baptized before I made a conscious decision to submit to God. At that point, my parents divorced after 16.5 years of marriage. At that point, I and my 3 sisters were given into my dad's custody, where he stopped attending congregations, did not pray with us, and did not read the Bible with us. Because of this, I grew up just ignoring God and living without Him. I gradually began to deny God's existence, probably because I did not like the idea of being under anyone's authority. Living apart from God made me my own God and standard of right and wrong. My philosophy was that I would do whatever I wanted to whomever I wanted as long as they were not my friend or family member. Fast forward to my teen years where I began to steal and commit many sins on a regular basis. Of course, many of those sins are legal in our world, but some of them are not, and those ones eventually got me serving a 9-month sentence for unlawful possession of firearms. Prior to getting locked up, I began reading the Bible, but only mockingly. After I was locked up, I continued reading the Bible, but this time with an open mind. I came across a mail-in Bible study that a fellow inmate friend was not interested in. I continued with that while reading about 4 chapters of the Bible each day. At the end of one of the studies, it suggested a prayer to say to express your submission to God. I was aware of the penalty to be paid for my sin, and was ready to turn from it. So while I did not believe the facts of the good news, I wanted to accept God's gift and was willing to follow Him. It was April of 2000 that I accepted God's gift of grace. It was not until many years later that I learned that my faith was indeed genuine, as it says in Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for,